Hey everybody, and welcome to a Matchmaker's Guide on Love and Life with your favorite matchmaker, Katy Clark. We're going back to an oldie but goodie. It is my most listened to podcast. It's actually podcast number 26 on the top 10 questions to ask on a date. I've got new ones. I'm going to be expounding on them. And I gotta be honest, I made these much, not trickier, but much more detailed because you guys gotta get to it in the first 3 dates. You know my 3-3-3 rule. Well, before we get started, I wanna encourage you, if you're new to dating or if you kind of need a little pep in your step to date, a little cheerleader behind you, I've taken my 10 years of matchmaking experience, my 10 years of dating, I'm now happily married, and I have created a course called 14 Days to Dating Success. It's only 14 days, it's only about 3 minutes a day, and it's all of my top tips and tricks. And guess what? It's only $14. Go to datingwithkaty.com, hit courses, buy the course. I pop in your email every morning. It's not that bad. It's all the best of the best. All right, well, let's talk about this. Now, the fact that this is my number one listened to podcast actually kind of blows my mind. I never would have thought that this was that important. But it tells me that you want to be good daters. And if you've been following me long enough, you know that I believe you're a 20%er. Out of all the people who are dating, out of 100% of all the people single and dating, 80% are crap. Are you with me? I think even that might be 90% now. Like, I don't know. People are like, Katy, it's pretty bad. But 20% of you are great. Now, the problem is it's a numbers game, and that's that 20%. There's going to be a lot less people who you're going to be attracted to, who are in your age range, all that stuff. So it's a little bit harder of a find. And imagine this, you're on an app and out of every 10 people you swipe on, only 2 are maybe attractive to you, let alone their bio looks somewhat interesting. So I want you to be that 20%er. And in my top 25 podcasts, I talk about online dating, how to make sure you're attractive in your online dating, how to make sure you're attractive in real life, how to meet people in real life. It is like my go-to on how to date. So if you are fresh to dating, that is your go-to. Now, if you are been dating a while and you feel like you're just not making connections in these dates, hopefully these new 10 questions will kind of give you a deeper sense of like, is this person really for me? Because who wants to waste their time? Nobody wants to waste their time. Guys don't want to waste their money. Ladies, you're tired of the games. Everybody's tired of the games. And so, as I say, let's make dating fun again. I mean, my hat says it all. Let's make dating fun again. All right. Well, knowing this, I just spoke to a girlfriend who is on Bumble. Now, I have opinions on these apps. I like Bumble because it's a little bit safer for women. It's not as overwhelming. But there's also some things I don't love about Bumble. It's a quick 24-hour turnover. They have 46 genders. I mean, let's just not add to the confusion here. But one of the things is obviously these online apps are not vetting people because her story proves it. That's why people use Matchmakers, to make sure people are who they say they are. So she meets this guy. They've been chatting on the app. As I always say, move it quick, get off the app, get to a phone number. You can get a Google number if you're nervous, okay? Ask your children to set that one up for you, or you can just Google it, how to set up a Google Voice phone number. And so he texts her, and his whole name comes up. Like, it's great. Our phones are now auto-populating people's information. Well, he's got first, middle, and last name. So she's smart enough, and I'm going to encourage every woman to do this. So much more important now than back in the day. Google his name. So she did. And lo and behold, the man is a sex offender and spent 10 years in jail for molesting a child. Now, it blows my mind that how many people need to report this guy. I'm sure he'd been on there. They'd been chatting on Bumble long enough. Like, he should have been reported 10 times over by then. Bumble should have some sort of speed check system. I don't understand. So anyways, if you want to work with a matchmaker, number 1, get in my database. Number 2, that's how you got to meet me. But if you want to work with me, let's chat. Okay, so here are 10 questions. And again, go listen to podcast 26. That's got a couple different SKUs of questions. But I really want these to help you get to what my 3-3-3 rule is. 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months. Your first 3 dates, hey, if there is a spark on the first date, not chemistry, I said spark. If there is a spark on the first date, give them a second date, okay? I get it. People get nervous on dates. People don't always put their best foot forward. But if there's a spark and there's some mutual interest and they're hitting all your standard marks, which hopefully you've made your standards list, and they are not weird, okay, then go on a second date, because people can sometimes be more relaxed and better. But by third date is when you should know. You should know within those 3 dates, yes, I want to see them again, or no, I don't. All right, so here are the questions that you can be asking. Number one, this is kind of fun. Maybe you're on a first dinner date and you just say, "Hey, so what turns your day around if it's going rough?" I love this question. It's actually a great question to ask to anybody to get to know them. Ask your kids if you have kids, ask your partner if you have a partner. What turns your day around if it's going rough? You're really going to see how they take in problems and how they create their own personal solutions. I call that creative solutions. And really, it's about, do they do it in a healthy way? Do they have a strategy? Is it by design or is it by default that they're going to be handling their anger, their frustration? So I just asked this on my Instagram. Go follow Dating with Katy. And I asked about self-care. This has been a rough week for me. And so one of the things I do is I try to do 3 things a day that makes me happy. And I love a good cup of coffee. I love to read. I love to sit in my hammock. I love to sit by a fireplace. I love to go for walks. I like to listen to Joyce Myers. I like to have a good phone call. I like to talk to myself. I mean, there are different things that I can do that doesn't have to be $1,000,000. But I asked you guys, what do you do for self-care? And I want to say this. Somebody wrote there's a difference between self-care and self-repair. And those would look different. Now, some of you people put things that I would call self-repair, and that's for that long-term, like something got deep. But self-care, this is what you guys wrote. Somebody wrote Disney. Maybe all things Disney makes them happy. I know I used to have Disney passes with my kids, and I'll tell you what, you just land there and you're like, okay, happiest place on earth. Maybe you like watching Disney shows, maybe playing Disney things with your kids. I get it. But the beach, absolutely for me, anything near water. I love the peaceful serenity of water. Somebody wrote palm trees, big fan here. I love black palm trees when the sun sets. They all look black, my favorite time of the day. Long naps are good. Travel, somebody wrote travel and backpacking. Now, obviously that's not an in the moment self-care, but maybe the planning of it, knowing it's coming. It's like, yes, to me, I'm going to go do something I love. What about mani-pedis? But the problem is you can't get them all the time. For me, that's just upkeep. A bath, reading, exercise. Exercise is huge, you guys. You know, I'm a big fan of keeping your body healthy and just respecting yourself in that. So if it's revenge bod, go do it. I'm all for that. Like if you have put so much effort into your body and you need to get some things fixed, I say do that too. But just get into that exercise mode. Sometimes you don't feel like it, but you're always glad you did. Venting to a good girlfriend, make sure those are safe spaces. And then playing music, I'm a huge fan. I love to drive, windows down, sunroof open, music loud. I have rolled up into places and people like look at me, Katy, do you realize your music's so loud? And I'm like, oops, I love it. But we want to make sure that those people are doing healthy self-care responses to things that bother them. So that's, again, what turns your day around if it's going rough? Make sure they're not dependent on other people too for that answer. All right, number 2, who in your life gets you best? Like who's your bestie? Like you want to find out this kind of intel. And then I'm going to tell you this too. If you're going to move on with them, you need to meet that person. I don't know if it's a Zoom, it's a phone call, in person. You need to meet that bestie, that person who gets them. And you need to get all the intel you can. Guys, I am all for this intel stuff now because you got to know what you're going into. And people are just way too fake these days, playing games, not cool. So who in your life gets you best? What would you answer to that? Is it your mom? Maybe your kids? But really, they can't get you best because you got to get them best. Is it a bestie from I got friends from junior high? Who is that person and why? Why do they get you best? What brings you two together? They're probably going to expand on that. Questions you can ask is, tell me more. Oh my gosh, tell me about that. Right? We want to get people talking on first dates. I dated a lawyer once and he said, Katy, you got to stop talking. You got to listen, listen, listen. That's going to give you everything you need to be successful. And I thought, he is right. That would be a whole nother podcast on arguing too. You got to listen, listen, listen. Okay. All right. Number 2, do you like to talk it out or think it out? And this one's very critical. Again, I love to vent. I'm a venter. I'm a talk it outer, talking to myself. But my husband's not. He is that quiet, contemplative kind of guy. And sometimes I got to be patient with him, and sometimes he's got to be patient with me. So finding that out early is fabulous. There is a book I read, and it's called like Walking with Dummies, something like that. But it talks about the 4 color languages. Reds, I'm a red. I'm just, let's do it. Let's go. We'll worry about the consequences later. My husband's a blue. He is a contemplator. He needs to think it out. He needs to like go over all the options and scenarios. He's great at reading contracts because I am not. Then there's the yellows. Let's just have fun. We'll figure it out later. Then there's the greens. Easy flow, Nothing's a big deal. So figure out, the way that people think and move and have their being is really going to be one of those colors. It's a very fun thing to talk about. But ask them that question. How do you process things like in life? Do you talk it out or do you just think it through? All right, next one. What is something you learned about yourself in a past relationship? Whoa, I know, Katy. You should be bringing up past relationships. Yes, you should. I'm a big believer on a first date. When they start talking about their exes, listen. This is where we apply the quiet, quiet, quiet. Listen to what they're saying. You're going to learn so much about themselves, about what they're attracted in the past, and hopefully you're better than that person. But why were they attracting those people? How do they respond to those people? So ask, what is something that they learned? And that's the big thing too, is when you say this question, make sure that they are applying it to what they messed up on, what they learned, what they took home. And you want to hear more about that past relationship. And I'd even have you say, like, be ready for someone to ask you that question back. So this leads to my next question. This is what everybody's talking about now. Like, what is your latest book or podcast on growth? Okay, this is the EQ question without you saying EQ, right? And why do you like it? And also I'd add, like, oh, how often do you read books like that? How often do you listen to that podcast? I mean, you're really going to get an insight. If someone only reads business books, I imagine to say that they're probably not great at relationships, but man, they're probably good business people. But is that what you're going to need in a relationship? No. You need people who are going to be equally well-rounded, hungry for, being great at business, great at family, great at relationships. You've got to get them to see what they're doing and learning for relationships. And here's the deal, and I've thought this in the past. Well, I'm really good at it, so I'm sure I'll help them out. No, you cannot depend on you to be their teacher. And for some ironic reason, it's kind of like with our kids, people who love us don't always want to listen to us. So just send them my podcast, okay, you guys? But really, we want to get into that. Now, those are all great for first dates. Keep them light, keep them fun. Be prepared to answer those yourself. This is for the third date. Remember, I said third date is the cutoff. We're either in and we're going to give them another 3 weeks, or it's done. So these are a little bit more designed to kind of get deeper. So make sure you're doing something where you can do something deeper. I love a good fire pit chat. Maybe you're on a hike, maybe you're at dinner again. Don't make it crazy, make it a nice quieter dinner. Here are the 5 more questions you should be asking. Now, a gentleman that I know, he's single, he's a great guy, single dad. He's the one who came up with this question. And ladies, this one's for you. You say to a man, what would you die for? Woo! I love the weight of that question. And to hear them answer that is going to be important to you. And if they don't bring up their parents, they don't bring up their family, they don't bring, if there's a disconnect, you need to kind of dive a little bit deeper or remember that, because that could be a full disconnection in relationships in their lives. For men, and I always say you could do this both ways, but this is a great fun question. What are you passionate about? Now, passion looks a lot different than what you're going to die for, but men are always looking for women that have a passion, not just shopping, not just, going to the spa, but what lights you up, right? Whether it's like, I'm on a quest to make the best chocolate chip cookie ever, fantastic. Or I'm working with nonprofits, with battered women, amazing. They don't care how much you're making. They just want to see that you have a passion that goes beyond you, because it's very attractive for men. All right, here's the number 2 for the third date. What are your boundaries in relationships? Let's see if these people have depth of character. We're not looking for another clown. We're not looking for someone who can show up in a room and just be charismatic. We're looking for people that have character. Okay. So with this question, again, you should be prepared. I always say you should have your standards, like what you won't do and what you won't put up with. Like if someone takes 24 hours to text back and that's not your standard because you don't do that to people. And now maybe they are, an ER doctor and they can't get to it. That's one thing. But if you've waited 3 days and they're not a texter backer, they didn't call you, they're not for you, right? They didn't meet your standards. So just cut it because it'll drive you nuts if you get in a relationship. But what are the boundaries and standards in the relationships you choose? Now, some people are like, boundaries. I don't really have any. Okay, then we know that their growth is kind of slow. They might be on the tricycle and you're not. You're listening to this podcast. So therefore, you're telling me you're ready to grow. Now, we want to know what it is with their families, with their parents, maybe with the ex-in-laws, like what did they learn? We want to learn what it is with their exes, their current exes. Here's the deal. The other day, my friend, she was texting her ex-husband who now lives with a woman. I said, girl, you need to stop. That's not cool. One, we got to be on team girlfriend because we're women and that's not cool. That's disrespecting her. Number two, he is rude by doing it, but you need to cut it. So what you're going to text him is say, you know what? I thought about this. You're living with a woman now. Like you shouldn't be texting me. That's not cool. Cut it. So his boundary is soft and hers was as well. And I'm like, you can't do that. That's not cool. So all of this to say, we want to find those things out early on, you guys. I'm saving you the pain. I'm saving you the frustration. And for guys, I'm saving you the money. All right. Number three, what makes you feel valued? And I said the word valued only because the word loved, men don't quite relate with that. You know, men want respect, women want love. But if you haven't read the 5 love languages, come on. Like you are definitely, you know, way behind. You're in the dark ages of EQ-ness. But the 5 love language is great. It's a great way to really discuss how you feel valued. What does that look like? What are some of your favorite memories of the way people express that to you? I mean, obviously, I love touch and I love gifts. And I hate the word gifts because it sounds like, oh, she's a gold digger. Not a gold digger. What I love is thoughtfulness. And I wish they would change the word gifts, you know. And there's a new love language too. It's called pictures. Like I love it when a guy wants to take pictures with me. I love it when my kids want to take photos with me. Like they make the effort. And instead of me always being like, let's take a photo, let's take a photo. So remember that. You can feel free to share that too. All right. Number 4, what was the most difficult moment in your life and how did it all turn out? How'd you work through that? Ooh, sounds a little heavy. Here's another way you could ask that question. How do you handle conflict? That's a little bit more direct and some people can handle that, but ask about the situation. What was the end result? How did they deal with it? You know, maybe somebody passed away that was really important, or maybe something sudden happened, they lost their job and didn't have anything as a backup. We want to hear these things. You want to hear them sooner than later. And number 5, have you ever realized that you hurt someone unintentionally? And what did you do about it? Okay, this is all about apologizing. And I'm going to tell you now, being in a marriage, apologizing correctly is super important. I just did a podcast on it. I think it's podcast 112. Go take a listen. I read the book, The 5 Apology Languages, by the same people of the 5 love languages. And just saying, I'm sorry, just doesn't cut it. When you're in a deep relationship with someone, you want to see restitution. You want to see their points of how they're going to make sure to not do it again. You want to know that your heart is safe with this person and just they're not talking words, right? It's not a great thing when they just say sorry and go back to bed. When they say sorry and they just walk away. We need deeper apologies. And so that question, have you ever realized, that's important too, that you hurt somebody unintentionally? What did you do? And here's a big thing I'm learning. We need to understand people's intentions, but they still kind of hurt us. So if they can own it, go back and apologize even when they didn't mean it, that is some maturity right there. Well, I do have one last one, and this is going to be clutch. I asked my coaching client this the other day. She is 42. She wants to get married, but she goes back and forth in waivers with the guy she dates. So I made her write out. I said, where do you want to be in 5 years? Because you keep dating these guys who want 0 to do with you in 5 years. They just want fun for now. So you really got to get in and ask that question so you feel like you're on the same page. I mean, like even at this stage in life with my husband, it's like, okay, where do you want to be in 5 years? Like, where do I want to be in 5 years? I mean, I'm going to be on a Disney cruise with my grandkids in 10 years. So we want to make sure that we're in alignment with the right people and we're not wasting our time. And so those questions are going to be awesome for you guys. Now, if I forgot any, I'm sure I did. If you've got some great questions, will you drop them in the comments section? Will you do me a favor? Give me some little love. Give me a 5-star review. Will you send this to a friend? Because honestly, you're all in this dating game together and it's just not pretty anymore. Until next time, you guys, I want you to get confident, be successful, and have fun dating. It's your favorite matchmaker, Katy Clark, with the Matchmaker's Guide on Love and Life.